Today's video, we're going over clinical examination of MCL tears. It's torn. What's up guys, this is Dan from Fitness Pain Free. I'm a physical therapist and strength coach. We've helped to make thousands of incredible clinicians and coaches through online courses, communities, and mentoring programs. Goal of today's video is to make you 1% better. All right, so MCL injuries are the most common ligamentous injury in the knee. Generally speaking, the MCL has good blood supply, so if you do injure the MCL, it tends to heal well, even in grade 3 injuries. However, that's going to depend on the type of injury that you have. So in today's video, we're going over a clinical examination of MCL injuries, figure out if your patient has an MCL injury, and also the next steps. Do I treat this more conservatively? Do I send back to the doctor? So subjectively, what are these patients going to tell you? So generally speaking, these injuries do occur on a field. So if you're playing a sport, you can have a contact injury or you can have a non-contact injury. From a contact perspective, if someone hits you from the outside of the knee, creates a valgus force, that can injure the MCL. It can also happen from a pivoting perspective. So if you pivot on the ground, twist, cause tibial external rotation of the knee, that can also injure the MCL. The MCL is often commonly injured along with the ACL too. So if you have a patient, you suspect that they have an MCL injury, also make sure you're doing your due diligence and rule out ACL injuries as well. All right, so from a mechanism of injury standpoint, on the inside of the knee, you've got your MCL right here. So if I'm playing a contact sport and someone comes and tackles me from the side, push that knee in, maybe that's a helmet, that can cause a traumatic injury of the MCL. This can also happen from a non-contact perspective. Let's say I'm jumping, landing, pivoting. Let's have you pivot on the ground and then go into tibial, external rotation, and dynamic valgus. That can also damage the MCL here. So make sure you're asking your patient questions about how this got hurt in the first place. And again, keep in mind, this is the same way you injure your ACL too. So do your due diligence to make sure you assess that as well. If you like tearing ACLs as much as I like tearing ACLs, you should probably like this video. So generally speaking, the MCL is an extra-articular ligament, meaning it's not on the inside of the joint. So when you injure it, you usually have local swelling. So right here, I've drawn out the MCL, and essentially, after someone has an MCL injury, you may find it's puffy right along this area. If you're doing some testing for joint effusion, let's say you do a sweep test through here, and come back down, and you're noticing fluid is coming out through the inside, you might have more intra-articular pathology, like meniscus or a ligament, right? The other test you can do is just palpating in this area. If you're noticing it's very tender and painful along the MCL, that's a sign you might have an MCL injury. The other one that I usually find pretty hilarious is if you have a complete injury of the MCL, so fully torn, usually it's not as painful. So if patients come in and it hurts like heck on the inside of the knee, I'm like, oh good, that's a good thing. It means that you're still intact. All right, let's get into some special tests. First one is going to be valgus stress testing. So essentially, you have your patient lying down. Typically in school, they kind of teach these, just grabbing the whole leg, applying a valgus force, 0 and 30. One of the ways you can mess around with this to make it a little more comfortable for the patient, and I learned this directly from Mike Reinold, just take the leg, drop it off the edge. It's usually pretty comfortable for the patient, a little less scary. And from here, we're gonna first assess at 30 degrees of knee flexion and apply a valgus force. So essentially, I'm applying a valgus force here with this side hand, and I'm either stabilizing or I'm also applying some force towards me on this arm, right? So if we're having laxity in 30 degrees, that's a sign you've injured the MCL, usually in isolation. Next, we're gonna check valgus at 0. So if I'm at 0 and I apply a valgus force and there's motion, there's a sign that I also injured my posterior medial corner, which can cause anterior medial rotary instability. There's also a chance you injured the ACL as well.
So I hope you're ready for your head to blow up, in a good way, of course. Because I have something that you're gonna love. It's an evidence-based cheat sheet for MCL injuries. Staying up to date on the literature is a pain in the butt, and my butt hurts, but yours doesn't have to. So I've done the work and going out there and reviewing the literature. I've taken all the good stuff and none of the fluffy stuff and condensed it into a nice little cheat sheet. My promise to you is I'm going to catch you up to date on the latest literature on these ligament injuries in under 10 minutes. These babies are action-packed, but not too packed. We go over prevalence and incidence, common populations with this injury, anatomy, mechanism of injury, clinical examination, differential diagnosis, and all the different treatments, conservative and surgical. Best of all, this bad boy is free. So I'm going to leave a link in the description. Go ahead and click on that and download it. My promise, I want to catch you up to date in under 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy. Now, back to the learning.
Slocum test for anterior medial rotary instability. This is very similar to an anterior drawer test. You have your patient lying on their back. From here, we're at 90 degrees. The difference is that we're going to take the foot, we're going to spin into 15 degrees of external rotation. The reason why we do that is because this biases the posterior medial corner. When I go into external rotation here, it makes this area more tall. right? And from here, I go ahead and perform my anterior drawer. So take my hands behind the calf and have my thumbs basically right by the tibial tuberosity, and I drawer towards me. So essentially I'm pulling in this direction. And if I'm noticing increased anterior translation of the tibia on the involved side versus the uninvolved side, that could indicate posterior medial corner injuries, but also an ACL injury. All right, so what about differential diagnosis? So the first one we're gonna look out for is gonna be ACL injuries and PCL injuries. Now keep in mind, we said earlier, these are intra-articular injuries. A couple good special tests you can try would be a Lockman's test for the ACL, so picking up this leg, drawing anteriorly. If you want to check for the PCL, you can bring the legs up here. I can posteriorly draw as well. Because these are intra-articular injuries, these generally will create some joint effusion. So you can use a sweep test here, so essentially trying to push the fluid out of the medial side, come back down the lateral side, and if you're noticing some fluid that pops out on the medial portion of the joint, that would indicate more intra-articular pathology like ACL or PCL. The other intra-articular pathology you want to be on the lookout for is going to be meniscus pathology. And generally speaking, these will hurt, end range extension or end range flexion. We can also poke around on the joint line. Just keep in mind, if you're poking on the joint line, you're noticing pain, that could be a meniscus injury, but also could be an MCL injury. At the end of the day, if you're unsure what's going on, you send back to the doctor for some imaging. Okay, so some takeaways here. If you have a grade 1 or grade 2 injury, generally speaking, this is going to be treated conservatively. You can start with physical therapy. If you think there's a grade 3 injury, probably good to send back to the doctor just because it may have a particular type of lesion, like a Stenner lesion, where the MCL is not going to heal without some sort of surgery. So send back to the doctor if that's occurring. The other one to be on the lookout for is anterior medial rotary instability. So if you're noticing some of that, probably good to send back to the doctor. Keep in mind, MCL injuries can occur with ACL injuries. So if you're ever concerned there's an ACL injury, same deal, send back to the doctor. All right, so now hopefully you have a better idea of how to diagnose MCL injuries. However, you might still have some questions. If you want a deep dive on evaluation and treatment on MCL injuries, I have a link for you. Go ahead and click on that. I'll go over everything that PTs need to know about MCL injuries. I'll see you there.